Shalom Chavra. This is day number 2 already of going remote. It lacks avada some of the whole gishmak of learning together with the chavrusas and the shir, but I appreciate the Olam going along with me. I mentioned in the text that if everybody could try, everyone to make the effort to constantly keep up. As a chabura, we like to think that we want to know that we have the capabilities of adjusting, adapting to different circumstances. Sometimes chavura can't make it, but when they do the duns, it shows they can take the chabura wherever they go. And if we're not able to be learning together in person, it shows a strength of the chabura that we can adapt and we can learn even when we're at home, even when we're getting the videos. And it's not something that we say to ourselves because we're not coming for in-person learning, then the shir is not in our mind. It's something that we take with us every day. So I can't stress how important it is for the strength of the chabura that we all keep up, regardless of the circumstances. Hagam, I know it's not so gishmak, but we do that and it displays a certain strength that we are able to adapt and we're able to continue with the same gishmak, even though we're not in person. And sometimes if we brush it off and we wait, we'll say we'll do it later, it ends up not getting done. And we need it just for ourselves, for our own chizuk, to keep on going. And we'll be finishing the parak, we'll be doing long chazara. We're going to do it, in a way that's very manageable and not, too much, but it has to be, we have to all be able to be involved, every one of the Bnei Chabura. So, and just a word of chizuk that we could to please try to keep up with the duns and all. I'm trying very hard to keep the shirim shorter when we're going remote, so that way the Olam doesn't have to have 30 minutes of just listening to me. And today I'm going to try. Yesterday we just did 3 lines. We explained things a lot in the sheet, but we did 3 lines of Gemara. Today we're going to do a little bit more. We'll do the Mishnah on Nun Hey Amud Beis. And I gave an introduction yesterday. Excuse me. I'll briefly go through that introduction again, just so that way we can see it. And the Mishnah flows. It's just one thing. It's a more of a, not a repeat, but very, very similar. It's a whole similar pattern that we're going to be going through. It's a pattern and it flows easily, the Mishnah. So we're on the Mishnah on Nun Hey Amud Beis, and we're now, Baruch Hashem, within Mamish hands reach of finishing the Masechta. It's such a murdik simcha. The Mishnah begins, Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag Hayu Sham, on the first day of Yom Tov. This, I know it's a little confusing which paper I gave out, but this is the first paper I gave out in the shir. This first paper I gave out on Monday night when we left. I gave them this paper. Yesterday I uploaded a second paper, which was for yesterday's Gemara. I didn't think to write one out, and I decided to write one out, and that was for yesterday's Gemara. For today's Gemara, we're going back to the sheet I gave out. Yaakov uploaded it to the Google Drive. Shkoyach Reb Yaakov for that. That's very helpful, and we'll be using this sheet also to get through today's Gemara. Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag, on the first day of Sukkot, Hayu Sham Yud Gimel Parim. There were 13 bulls. Elim Shnayim, 2 rams. V'Sa'ir Echad, and 1 goat. Nishtayru Sham Yud Dalid Kavasim. And the Mishnah is saying that, this word of Akdama, of introduction, we have 24 groups of Kaihanim. I spoke to yesterday, that take a 2-week avoida in the Beis Hamikdash, and they do 2 weeks, and then they go through the rotation of the 24 Kaihanim again after everybody has a rotation of 2 weeks. Okay, so what happens is that these 24 groups of Kaihanim, when it came Sukkot time, every one of them had the ability and the schus to partake in and participate in the bringing of the kabbanis of Sukkot, which are special kabbanis. So everyone had a chance to bring it, to participate in them. So the Mishnah is telling us that there was 13 bulls. So of those 24 groups, we're down now to 12. We are down, to 11, because 13 groups took the 13 bulls. So 24 minus 13, we're down to 11. Elim Shanayim, we had 2 rams that were taken up by another 2 groups. So we have 15. We have already 15 groups, and then the So'ir Echad and 1 goat. That's 16 groups. We're now left So'ir Echad, 1 goat. So 16 groups are left. Nishtayru Sham, we have Yud Daled Kavasim. There are 14 lambs that are left. L'shmeina mishmaros, for the 8 mishmaros. So on the first day of Sukkot, and for every day of Sukkot, they brought 14 lambs, 2 rams. That's 14 kvasim. Those are rams. 2 rams, elim, and 1 goat. On the first day, they also brought 13 bulls. They brought 13 bulls. So that's a total of 16. That's a total of 30 karbanos on the first day. And the Mishnah is describing how they were divided. But every day afterwards, the 13 bulls went down 1 to 12 to 11 to 10, 9 for all 7 days of Sukkot. So we're going to constantly have to divide up the avodah differently. How were the 24 groups able to be involved and partake in the bringing of these kabbanis? Did they shear kabbanis? Let's see what it says over here. So b'yom harishon, on the first day. So right now we have 16 groups that brought the 13 bulls, the 2 rams, and the goat. 16 for 16 karbanos. We have 14 lambs. These 14 lambs were brought every day, and now we have 14 lambs that are left to be divided among 8. Says the Gemara. So b'yom harishon, shisha, 6 mishmaros. 6 groups of Kahanim, Makriven, Shnayim, each brought 2. So those 6, if you have 6 of the 8 groups of Kahanim, each brought 2 of the lambs, that's 12 lambs. You have 2 groups of Bashar, and the other 2 groups, right, that it's kedai to write that in, Bashar, the other 2 groups, Echad, each one brought 1 lamb. So that's how everyone is able to participate, period. On the Sheni now, when the parim went down to 12. So let's go. We have 12 parim, 12 mishmaros, 2 rams, so up to 14 mishmaros. Then 1 goat, 15 mishmaros have a job already. We are left now with 8 as the first day. We're left with 9 mishmaros left over who have to divide 14 lambs. So, B'Sheni, on the second day, I wrote a footnote, when the parim diminished or went down to 12. So we have, and you're right, we have 9 groups for 14 lambs. Chamisha, 5 groups, Makriv and Shnayim, brought 2 each, which is 10. Vashar, the other 4 mishmaros. It's kedai to write that in, not Vashar. The other 4 mishmaros, echad, each brought 1 lamb, and that got you to 14 lambs, and all of them participated. Period. B'shlishi, on the third day, when we brought 11 bulls, so now we're going to have 11 bulls plus the 2 rams. That's 13. Plus the sa'ir, that's the 1 goat, that's 14. So 14 mishmaros have a job already, but we're left now with 10. 10 mishmaros for 14 lambs. So Bashlishi, on the third day, Dalid, 4 of the 10. Makriv and Shnayim, they would each bring 2, that's 8 lambs. Vashar, and Ashar is the other 6. The other 6 mishmaros that were left, Echad, each brought 1 for a total of 14 lambs. Bervi, on the 4th day, when at this point we're going to bring 10 bulls. We're going to bring 10 bulls. So now we have 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 1 goat. 13 are taken up. We have 11 mishmaros that are free. So 11 mishmaros to divide up 14 lambs. Shloisha, 3 of those mishmaros, Makriv and Shnayim. 3 of the 11 are going to bring 2 each. That's 6. Now we have Ashar and the other 8 mishmaros. Kedai to write it in. Ashar, the other 8. Echad, each brought 1. 8 plus 6 is 14. Everyone participated. B'chamishi, in the 5th month. B'chamishi, on the 5th day of Yom Tiv, where we now have 9 bulls. 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 1 goat. That's 12. So now we have 12 mishmaros left over to divide up to divide up 14 lambs. Says the Gemara, B'chamishi, on the 5th day, Shnayim, 2 of the Mishmarais Makriv and Shnayim. They would bring 2 for a total of 4. So 2 Mishmarais, we have 12 Mishmarais left over. 2 of them would each bring 2. So that's 4. Now we have Vashar, because we have Vahashar, and the Vahashar, and the other 10, Echad Echad. The 10 free would each bring 1, which would give you, B'chamishi, Shnayim, 2 out of the groups Makrim and Shnayim would bring you Vashar, Echad Echad. Very good. Would each bring 1. So you have 2 groups bringing 2. That's 4 lambs. And you now, I'll have 10 groups left over. And those 10 each bring 1 lamb, and that's a total of 14 lambs. B'shishi, if you take down 1 bull down to 8, we're down now. B'shishi, on the... One second, I'm sorry, Chevra. Okay. B'shishi. So let's go for a second and see what happened. Day number 1, we had 13 bulls. Day number 2, we had 12 bulls. Day number 3, we had 11 bulls. Day number 4, we have 10 bulls. Day number 5, we have 9 bulls. Day number 6, we have 8 bulls. So B'shishi, when you had a very good B'shishi, you had 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 1 goat. That's a total of 11. We have how many mishmaros left over? 13 mishmaros to bring 14 lambs. Echad, 1 out of the 13. Makriv Shnayim, they would bring 2 lambs. Vahashar, and the other 12 groups, because we have 13 groups, other 12 groups, Echad, they brought 1 lamb for a total of 14. B'shvi, when we're down now we're down to 7. We have 7 bulls, 7 mishmaros, plus 2 rams, 9, plus 1 goat, that's 10. So 10 kayanim had an avodah, 10 mishmaros had an avodah, 14 mishmaros don't have anything to do. So those 14 mishmaros who now have 14 lambs to bring, easy, kulan shavin, all are equal and bring 1. Add that in, kulan shavin, all bring 1. Bishmini, now Bishmini. Now I'm asking them just to write on the side a footnote. These footnotes are so key. Bishmini, on the 8th day, Shmini Atzeres, footnote, just to know what karbanos are we bringing on Shmini Atzeres. Okay, Bishmini, I wrote on the side, Shmini Atzeres, it's good to know. You bring 1 bull, so that's 1 par, 1 ayil, that's 1 ram, and 7 lambs, 7 kavasim. Okay, it's good to have that on the side. It may come up, but it's just good to have. We discussed this a little bit early on in the Masechta, which numbers went down. It's irregular for Neyatzmai. But on Shmini Atzeres, we brought 1, 1, and 7. 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 lambs. Says the Gemara. Bashmini, on the 8th day, Chazru lepayis kivregalim. They went back to the lottery of a regular Yom Tif, which they didn't have a system of an order who got to it first. They went back to dividing it up through a lottery-based system. We'll discuss in the Gemara if it's so pashut that it was just a lottery system for everyone, or maybe it was limited to only a few groups. But for now, we're going to say Chazru, they went back Lefayas to the lottery Kivregalim, like the regular Yom Tif. Now, put a period over there. Says the Gemara, Amru, they said, it was a special schus to bring the parim on Sukkot. A special schus to bring the parim on Sukkot. So what they said was that Amru, they said, Mi shehikrev parim hayoim. If your group of kahanim brought parim on day 1, lo yaakov lamachar, you can't bring it the next day. Ella, rather, we just spoke out how to divide up the cows and the rams and the lambs, but this part was one rule. If you were part of a group of Kohanim that brought the bulls, the Purim, you cannot bring it the next day, maybe the third day or fourth, but we'll see. Ella, rather, chayzun chalila, you go back to the beginning. Chayzun chalila, you're going to go back. Now, over here, I wrote it. This is actually, I took it from the Arts Gemara because they wrote it out. Any group that brought the bulls that day cannot bring the bulls the next day. So on this paper, if you look at it, it's uploaded as well. It says over here, day one, when you had 14 bulls, you had Mishmar 1 through 13 bringing. That's 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm sorry, you had 13 bulls. We had 13 bulls on the first day. So 1 through 13 brought. 13 bulls, group 1 through 13. Day number 2, you're not allowed to have anyone that did it before. So you did 14 to 24, which is only 12. And then you went back and you had to bring the Mishmar number 1. Now, although Mishmar number 1 did bring it the day before, there was no other way to do it because you have excuse me. 1 second, Chabra, 1 second. Day number 2, day number 2, excuse me, there's something that's off here, drop, 1 second, Chabra. Okay, yes. Okay, fine. So day number 2, you had 12 bulls. Day number 2, you had 12 bulls, and we only have since 13. I'm sorry, this is clear. Since 13 brought on day 1, you only have 11 that didn't bring yet, and you have 11 groups for 12 bulls. Day number 2, you brought 12 bulls, and at day number 2 you brought 12 bulls, and you only had 13 mishmares that didn't yet bring anything. So what do you do? So the 11 last mishmares, that is 14 to 24. The 11 last mishmares, 14 to 24 is 11. So they brought it, and then you had to take plus mishmar number 1. You have to go back to the beginning of the cycle because there's no other way to do it. And day number 3, when you brought 11 bulls, you went to 2 to 17. 2 to number 12, excuse me. Day number 4, 10 bulls, and you used 13 to 22. Day number 5, 9 bulls, and we said 13 to 24. And then you have to also end. Day number 5 was 9 bulls. So you had 23 and 24. That's only 2. And you had to bring Mishmar 1 through number 7. Had to bring 7 plus 2 is 9. And then day number 6, 8 bulls, 8 through 15. Day number 7, Mishmar 16 to 22. What comes out, Rabbi Isai, because we ended up by number 22, number 23 and number 24, everyone, aside from number 23 and 24, got the chance to bring the bulls 3 times. Every group brought it 3 times. The last 2 groups did not bring it 3 times because it stopped short, just by number 16 to 22 on the last day. And now the shine is going to be in the Gemara. The day were they the ones that had the schus to bring it on Shmini Atzeres, because they are the only ones that did not bring it 3 times. So I hope that's clear. I'm sorry, it's a drop confusing, but if you listen to it slowly and you look at the paper, you'll see that it's just a system of dividing up all the bulls and basically going through the 24 mishmares, starting and restarting, and you look through it, and I hope with Hashem's help it's clear. And I wrote at the bottom, every mishmar brought the bulls on 3 occasions, except for the last 2 mishmares that brought the bulls only twice. If there's anything Rabbi Isai, please text me or call me. I hope with Hashem's help it's clear. And thank you, Rabbi Isai, for keeping up the steiging and the learning in this remote style. Thank you. Everyone should have a good bench today. And tomorrow, Thursday, we'll be on back with the whole Chabura together, Mitch Hashem. Thank you, everyone. Shkayach.